All right, so we got one of my favorite reporters from Fox News that's about to report something. It's not because she's stunning, it's because she's just a phenomenal reporter. And she's talking about a mom that confronts Black Lives Matter protesters outside of her house. So something happened to her and her family, and she's protesting. I mean, she's confronting them like, what the hell's going on with y'all? But let me tell you something, Black Lives Matter people who are out there representing this organization, y'all care about all the wrong things. All y'all want is to be seen and heard and paid. That's it. Black lives don't really matter to you all at all. I understand why the whole movement was started, but the organization effed that up, man. They effed that up, and everybody that keep on with the organization doing what they did, and everyone's still repping Black Lives Matter right now, y'all are making it even worse. Just letting you know that right now. So we about to go and check this out. And y'all know what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna have a good conversation. And don't leave me, guys. Come on, hold on, hold on. Let's have a good conversation, all right?
Minneapolis mother is standing up to
There she
Black
go.
Lives Matter's protesters, and she is also defending the police in the shooting death of Andrew Sundberg after a 6-hour standoff. Arabella Foss Yarbrough said she was the one who called police on Sundberg, who was her neighbor. She claims he terrorized her and her 2 children, and she told the BLM activists gathered outside her apartment building that this case is very different from other police-involved killings. Watch.
Wow.
That man was armed. George Floyd was not armed. Breonna Taylor was not armed. This man intentionally tried to kill us. For 3 years I lived here, and none of you guys knocked on that man's door to see if he was okay.
Wow.
Not at all. He played loud music every day to cope with his mindset. There was casings in the hallway. The shot went through my door to the pillar to the kitchen. I was cooking food for my kids. He's dead now, so that can't happen. He shouldn't know. It doesn't matter. He shouldn't have been dead.
Wow. Wow. It's like, what's your problem? He's dead now, so it can't happen no more. What's the problem? Why are you complaining? Shh, that's not why we're here. We're here specifically to go against the people we're supposed to go against. And today's agenda look like we gotta go against the police. We're not going against him. You know what I mean? What he was doing, that was on him. Let me tell you something. When you don't hold people accountable, this is exactly what's going to happen. It's going to happen over and over and over and over and over again.
He shouldn't know. It doesn't matter. He shouldn't have been dead. Y'all should have came and helped him when he was alive.
That's right.
Now I can't get my because all you guys want to be here. My kids have to see you guys celebrate a man's life that tried to kill him.
Wow. My kids have to see you celebrate a man's life that tried to kill my family. And guess what? Y'all don't care because y'all are out here strictly for political reasons. You want to be seen, you want to be heard, you want to be a part of something that you don't understand, you want to be a part of something that you don't even care about. Well, guess what? I care about my children, and y'all clearly do not. I was there. I was in the house trying to cook for them. I know where the bullet came through my daggone house and almost hit my children. Come on now. And y'all celebrating. Do you know how disrespectful that is? Wow, man, I'm your neighbor. Y'all don't care about me? Y'all only care about the black life that just died, and you don't care what type of life he was living before that. You just want to celebrate that so that you could be out here. You want to be on the news. You want to be famous. That's what you want. You're going to try to piggyback off of someone else's infamy so that you can be famous. KMA.
She did get an apology from Sundberg's family, who was also at the protest, but they are claiming that his death could have been avoided, and they want police to release the body cam footage. This is all still under investigation. It's important that we remember we do not know all the facts yet. Steve, this is just tragedy upon tragedy here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the last point you made. We got to wait and see all of the facts come out. But, you know, it's pretty clear.
Man, look at these colors, man. Y'all ladies, y'all be doing it. I swear to goodness, y'all be doing it. Y'all know how to present.
Yeah. what she thought was happening. And what she was trying to do was defend and protect the lives of her children. She thought they were under threat. And it's such an insult for that to now be thrown back in her face by a mob outside her house. The other thing, I think, is the contrast between this situation, where you've now got people screaming and saying the cops shouldn't have taken out the shooter, and look at the other news story we've seen in the last 24 hours from Uvalde, where the whole nation is screaming at the cops for not going in and taking out the shooter. You know, it's so difficult to get these things right, but in this case, what we're hearing from the police is that they tried incredibly hard for hours to try and solve the situation without taking that final step, right? And then there's a final point I'd make, which is actually, it doesn't matter what we discuss here and soberly look at the facts and the arguments. The people behind those kinds of protests, you see this on the left now, they're just ideologues. The facts don't matter.
The facts don't matter. Thank you, brother. What's your name, man? Thank you, brother.
Opportunity to push their ideology, their extremist, far-left ideology, and they're not going to listen to any facts because they just want to go out there and make their point.
And as we learn all the facts, Harris, and wait for them to develop, I think it sort of begs the question, and as we have these national conversations and Steve brings up ideology, the reality is nuanced, and all lives matter, and tragedies unfold in ways that you can't predict, and that's where training kicks in. That's where these officers' training is so paramount. And that's something that struck me was when Foss Yarbrough was saying, you know, she said, I had 5 minutes to live while he had 6 hours to choose life or death. She said the police stated they did not want to kill him. And the mother of Teagle, Cindy Sundberg, she said at a press conference, I wish I could wrap my arms around her and tell her I'm so sorry. He was an imperfect human. We are all imperfect.
I want to give some support to this mom today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because she didn't get that right after this happened. She is a woman of color. You got to watch the whole thing. She says, I am a woman of color. Who do BLM care for? Because it isn't us. I'm a black woman. I don't think they have my best interest at heart. Not when I look at places like Chicago.
Let me tell you something, man. You look good in that green, I'll tell you that much. Okay, go ahead.
And the black on black crime and crime period in areas that affect people of color the most. And they don't protest like this. Where are they all? Who do they care about? She said, didn't you care about this young man when he was cranking his music so loud because he was dealing with some of the things that were well known apparently in the building or in the area? I agree with her. His life could have been spared. You know who could have spared it? The people who knew that this potentially was a problem for him. The anger, the hurt, the angst, whatever he was feeling. That we're not doctors either. Not only are we not the prosecutors on the case, we're not the doctors.
But while you're saying you're not the doctors and you're not the prosecutors, but you are the organization that love Black lives. So if you knew that this young gentleman was having these issues, where was that organization when he was alive and before anything happened that ended his life? Y'all could have been there. Y'all could have been around. Nobody heard about what was coming up. No, they just sit around and listen to the radios or listen to the TV and watch the TV and can't wait for another Black life to be shot. They don't care how it happened. They don't care when it happened. They just wait for another one to be shot, not by each other, but by the police. It got to be by the police. That's the rules. It can't be by another Black person. It got to be by the police or it could be by a Republican white person. So if a white Republican shot one of these Black people, then we're ready to go to arms. We're ready to, yes. Yeah, who shot him? You say it was Republican and he was white. Oh, this is brilliant. Oh man, do y'all not realize how we was just blessed? Huh? No, they don't want to step in and help them before anything happens. Nah, that would go against what they believe in.
But this mom and others apparently knew that he had issues. And she screamed out, why didn't you help him when you could have? She's right about that. And thank God that she and her children are okay and that it's damage that can be repaired. But you know what can't be repaired? Black Lives Matter protesters prove to the people of color that you say you represent.
Yep.
That you really see us and care about all of us, particularly the victims. I mean, this is like a bunch of liberal DAs now. They don't even see us. We're at war with criminals. Either you do that or stop saying that you represent anybody who looks like me, because you don't mean it.
Thank you.
And Kaylee, to that end,
Thank you.
all lives are equal and everyone is represented equally in that way. This woman, Foss Yarbrough, she claims she's not been able to go back to her apartment. She's lost her job. She talks about the trauma her two children have faced after having their apartment shot up. These are her allegations. And she says, what about me and my children of color? Will they be left behind too?
That's exactly right, Emily. Her quote was,
Wow.
I have black children. I am a woman of color. If I would have lost my life, would you guys have done this for me? And I think that she makes a very key point here, that we in the media selectively pick victims. I don't want to say we, because I don't include Fox News or us in that. We cover all things, but we should not do that. The media has a responsibility to cover all of these stories, even ones that don't fit an ideological agenda, and our national leaders as well. I remember the murder of George Floyd, and I remember watching that video with President Trump, and he was upset by it. He was angry by it. So too was I. That was murder. That was an injustice. But there are certain names that he highlighted. David Dorn is one of them. Legend Taliaferro. Their names didn't make it outside of Fox News. They didn't. CNN didn't cover them. MSNBC didn't cover them because they were victims of crime. Victims of crime matter too. The murder of George Floyd mattered. Victims of crime matter. So stop picking victims that you care about and start covering injustice when you see it. Because this mom with her little babies, bullets coming through her apartment, that deserves coverage.
It does. And
You're absolutely right, Kaylee McEnany. I still don't think I'm saying your name right, but you're absolutely right. Regular crime, if it can't be tied into a policy or the government or something like that, Black Lives Matter don't care about that. They can care less about that. As a matter of fact, they're like, look. We know that they shot each other. We're going to try to figure out how to discuss this in-house because they're not going to report it. Is there any type of way we can, claim that a police did it? Huh? Can we, is there a police that was out here when it happened? Can we point at them and say it wouldn't have happened if that police would have been involved? Yes, man.
And Carly, recently we've been talking about the faith that has been eroded by Americans in media, in mainstream media. For that reason, they see an agenda being pushed. They see a conclusion being drawn before the facts have played out and the investigation being pursued. Yeah. They say, why do you think that we've been turning off the TV?
Yeah.
It's because we don't trust the coverage because it's not fair.
Yeah, no, that's such a great point. And the thing that struck me about this story, so much struck me about the story, that woman's words were so powerful, and it really comes at a really important time where she's really standing up for a lot of victims. Because we live in a time right now where criminals are being prioritized over victims. And it's not just Black Lives Matter, it's also district attorneys, it's judges.
Very much so. Exactly.
Who are ruling
That's
in
right.
favor
That's
of the criminal. And every single time you do that, you victimize the victim once again. And in this situation, she did bring up her children. She said, I'm a woman of color, like you said. My children are black, 2 and 4 years old, by the way. And she said, would you be protesting if I had died or my children have died? And one of the protesters said, yes, ma'am. And you know that's not true. Because out of the over 270 children that have been shot in Chicago since 2021, over 100 children have been shot in Philadelphia so far this year. Not a single Black Lives Matter protest on their behalf.
There you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So who do they represent and who do they care about?
Well,
they may as well leave the B or anybody, not even all. Just leave that blank. Whose lives matter? Question mark.
Yeah.
Well, it's very clear what it is an ideological anti-police agenda, and they exploit any opportunity to push that. That's actually what's
Any
going on.
opportunity.
Exactly.
That's right.
Hey everyone,
They exploit any opportunity to push that. Listen, the most you're going to get if you pass away from gunshot or if you get killed in an urban community, the most you're going to get is flowers and teddy bears and balloons in that place where your body was found. That's, if you ever want to know where somebody died, ride through a neighborhood, and when you see those balloons and you see those teddy bears and flowers and stuff, that's just people dropping them off. Boom, 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 just putting it there. Okay? Because that's unfortunate. They shouldn't die. That's all you're going to hear of it. And the parents aren't going to be helped. They're just not. They're just not. They're just not. They can care less about it. It's your turn, man. Let me know whatever you want me to know in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I'm Van, and now we are all the LFR family, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, and hopefully inside the Patreon as well, man. Y'all have been amazing per usual. Love y'all.